You know David's always up for a challenge, and he loves meeting new people. So we sent him to the airport and gave him a plane ticket. The destination was a surprise. And we told him, when you land there, find a story, and you have to do it within 48 hours. And David worked his magic.
Here we go! Savannah, Georgia, this is where we're going. Go get myself some sweet tea. Here we go.
This is going to be like the amazing race of storytelling. Because as soon as I found out the surprise destination, they gave me just 48 hours to get there and find a story.
Welcome to Savannah, y'all.
Savannah is Georgia's oldest city, and it is famous for its 22 squares, pre-Civil War architecture, and of course, their good old Southern hospitality.
John, man, I'm talking to my wife. I got to give you a hug because it's almost like I know you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm talking on the phone with my wife right now. She loves your story.
What's her name?
Darlene.
Let me say hello.
Say
Hello, Miss Darlene.
So, in search of a true taste of Savannah, my team suggested we drop by Leopold's Ice Cream, founded back in 1919. And boy, did they line up a special greeter for me.
David.
Are you Mr. Stratton?
I am Stratton. Welcome to Savannah. Welcome to Leopold.
Mr. Stratton Leopold is the 80-year-old owner of this family-run institution, started by his father more than a century ago. He's not just a local star here in Savannah, he's a Hollywood one too. Leopold has produced more than 20 films, but this is what he says might be his sweetest achievement.
This is the best.
It's a food group.
This was my first taste of Savannah.
Okay.
Where should I go next?
Go to Olympia Cafe.
Olympia Cafe.
I'll go down there with you if you want.
Let's go. Let's go.
Now look, I was expecting some classic Southern food, but Mr. Leopold took me to a fiery good Greek restaurant. Over some octopus and delicious pita. I learned about Leopold's fascinating life and fueled up for the next part of our journey.
Thank you.
I hopped on the trolley with our tour guide, Gina. It was a great way to see some of Savannah's best views.
We're one of the few cities east of the Mississippi that allow you to walk around with a cocktail in your hand.
That's a good shot.
You know I'm gonna be posting on Facebook.
Oh, please. How you like Savannah?
We just got here.
It's my first time, and I love it. We have the opportunity to meet people like Martin from Haiti. Moved here 19 years ago. Savannah was his first stop in the U.S., and he decided to stay. You know, of all the people we spoke to, I remember Mr. Leopold, the ice cream man, saying, David, you have got to meet Wilbert Boyce.
So the next morning, we arrived bright and early. And look who we found sitting on the bench right outside the shop.
Hello, Wilbert. My name is David Begnaud with CBS News. How you doing?
Doing just fine.
Nice to meet you.
Wilbert Boyce is 78 years old. He's a father of 3. And he's been working here at the Barber Pole in Savannah since it opened 25 years ago. It's a busy spot for walk-ins. But for Mr. Boyce, the day moves at a much slower pace. Not because of his age, but because his craft is a dying one.
Are you the only shoe shiner in Savannah?
I'm the only one I know of. I don't know nobody else shining shoes in Savannah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it ain't that many people getting their shoes shined. That's why.
Is it because we're all wearing more casual clothes today?
Yeah.
What does a nice, shiny pair of shoes say about a man?
Hey, a man ain't saying nothing if he get up and get dressed and his shoes ain't shining.
Boyce discovered his craft at the age of 15 in his hometown of Decatur, Illinois, well before he moved south to Savannah.
How did it come to be that you work here?
I walked by one day and saw the shoe shine stand, and I came in and asked, the proprietor if anybody was shining shoes in there. Wasn't nobody shining shoes, so he gave me the job.
The job looks a lot different these days. Boyce spends a lot more time just sitting and waiting than he does polishing. In fact, on the day we met him, not a single customer dropped by for an appointment or even stopped in to see the man who is believed to be the only shoe shiner left in Savannah.
You think you'll be the last one?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think nobody else gonna shine no shoes.
You think some people think that shining shoes is beneath them?
Of course they do. That's why ain't nobody doing it.
How good a shoe shiner do you think you are?
I'm the best. The greatest of all time. The GOAT.
And you know, his customers just might agree.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Like the mayor of Savannah, Van Johnson.
You good? You got time for me?
Of course.
He heard we were in town, and in between meetings the next day, he dropped on by. He told us he's part of the $100 Club. It's a group of loyal customers, many of them attorneys, who pay $100 at the start of the year for unlimited shines. Turns out it was the mayor's idea.
At the end of the day, these shoes look a whole lot better than they did when I came in here.
So, do you want to retire? Any plans of retiring?
I'm already retired.
But any plans of stopping shining shoes?
I don't have no reason to stop. Well, if I stop, what would I do? Just sit at home and watch TV all day?
If you got to watch people pass by, you might as well do it here than at home.
Exactly. You know, and I'm making $10 every now and then, too.
There you go.
You got it.
As the sun set over Savannah and my new friend headed home, I stood there thinking about all the history in this city. And it made me grateful for people like Wilbert Boyce, who keep it shining just as bright as new.
Well, get this. He said he wasn't going to stop, but I called Wilbert last night and he said, David, I'm done. I need both hips replaced, and he's going to have it done, but he has decided to retire. That's it. So we checked with the mayor of Savannah, and he said, David, we're going to throw a retirement party for him. His customers are going to be invited, and people around town can come and wish him well, too.
You are looking at Providence, Rhode Island, where our lead national correspondent David Begnaud went for his latest storytelling adventure as part of our new series on CBS Mornings. Since David loves meeting people, we surprised him with a ticket to the city and challenged him to find a story on the fly. Here's what he came up with.
Good morning.
Good morning. Here is your ticket.
Where are we going? Oh, Providence, Rhode Island. That should be fun. 9:30 flight.
So once I knew where we were going, I had to get there and find a story in just 48 hours.
Have a good day. Thanks, you too. Wish us luck. Here we go.
And to kick things off, after I landed in the city that is known for its art and food scenes, my team surprised me with a little adventure.
Hi.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
Very nice to meet you.
Marcello the gondolier.
David, nice to meet you.
Who knew you could take a gondola ride in Providence? But hey, let's go.
Santa Lucia.
I don't know what the heck they said, but that was beautiful. What is Providence treasured for?
Our founder, Roger Williams, founded a settlement where anybody who wasn't welcome anywhere else was welcome here.
We felt that walking around Providence.
David Begnaud, nice to meet you.
David Beckham.
No, that's the soccer player. Begnaud.
Oh, Beckham.
Begnaud. I'm looking for a story.
You are.
Yes, ma'am. And Greg Stevens has a lot of stories. As the fourth generation owner of Olneyville, New York system, which boasts Rhode Island's best hot wieners. Okay, so it's a German sausage topped with meat sauce, mustard, onion, and celery salt. Woo! Being the picky eater that I am, I was a little hesitant. But hey, Steven said, try it.
There's a lot of flavors in there.
Keeping it the same, that's our secret.
Now, before I boarded the flight in New York, I posted on social media asking people, hey, you got any story ideas for us? Send. And there were hundreds of people who responded saying, cooking con Omi, or cooking with Omi. So I said to my team, hey, you want to go by her house and surprise her?
Hello, Omi.
Oh my gosh!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Surprise.
She had already heard on social media that we were in town looking for a story. And naturally, she started cooking. She gave us that Puerto Rican favorite, tostones with a little ceviche.
Thank you.
She's become popular for cooking on TikTok, and it all started with an Instagram post at the height of the pandemic.
I was at the grocery store. I was in the parking lot. It's where I often went to go cry because we were struggling. And I said, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get what I need, and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna cook. On that very day, I turned on my camera and I said, anybody wanna cook with me? I'm lonely.
Since then, Omi built an online community, cooking right from her kitchen. It earned her a spot on the second season of the TV show Next Level Chef.
It made me feel like I was supposed to be doing what I was doing.
I just love when people find their purpose. Well, another bite down, more to come. So we headed for Federal Hill. That's the Little Italy section of Providence, to see who we'd meet next.
I love a meatball.
And then this happened.
Car's right here.
When I left the Italian food market, I noticed a man who was helping a woman who was clearly struggling to walk. So I offered to help them.
I'm Mitchell. Your name?
David Begnaud with CBS
David,
News.
pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So we're actually in town looking for a story. What do you do for a living?
I'm a watchmaker.
A watchmaker?
A watchmaker, yes.
I don't feel like I've ever met a watchmaker.
Mitchell and his mother were in the valet parking zone, and I didn't want to hold him up. So we said our goodbyes.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Take care.
Take care.
Good evening.
So as Mitchell and his mom drove away that day, I kept thinking about him. Something about the way he spoke, his articulation and diction, and I thought, I wonder what this guy's backstory is. I had given him my number, and sure enough, about 5 minutes later, he texted me.
And based on what he said in that conversation, I told him, Mitchell, we want to make you our story. And the timing was perfect.
So first of all, nice to see you again.
You as well.
I mean, the way we met is wild.
It was serendipitous.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Meant to be.
Mitchell invited us into his workshop here at Providence Diamond. I learned that Mitchell Thompson is part of a small and elite group of Rolex certified watchmakers in the United States. And he's just 25 years old. Mitchell masters the craft of both repairing and rebuilding luxury watches.
Who gave you your first watch?
My mother.
How old were you?
I was 8 or 9, and she said, well, you're going back to school, you need to know how to tell the time with hands, no digital watch.
He now owns 25 watches. And it turns out studying languages was his first love. Luxury watches came next. He enrolled in watchmaking school in Pennsylvania, fully funded by Rolex, with only 11 students in the graduating class.
What is it that you love about watches?
I love innovation, and I love the cultural significance of the watch.
What is the specialty that a watchmaker possesses?
Passion. If you don't love this, there's no place in this business for you. You have to love it.
Why?
It's very similar to the focus you have when you thread a needle. You have to do something over and over and over again. Biggest example is a loose screw in a watch, and you're checking every single one every time. And if you miss one, that can stop the watch.
You know, 50 years ago, Rolex says there were more than 30,000 watchmakers across the country. Today, there are less than 2,000, and we just happen to run into one of them.
So what is your takeaway from this experience, meeting us, telling your story, being the one who we decided we wanted to tell the story about?
Well, I find it a reinforcement for a belief I've always held, in that things have a way of finding their place, and it never hurts to ask, hi, what's your name? Because you never know where it leads.
As you did, and I'm glad
right.
you did.
Well, thank you.
So thank you.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure.
You as well.
You know, in 2 decades of telling stories, I've learned that random encounters can lead to some pretty meaningful moments. You just have to be willing to lean into it, time and time again.
Oh, he just wraps it up in a bow for us.
We had so much fun. I mean, how random is it to run into that guy on the street?
It's true to life, though. That's what I like about that story, is it felt like I was living actual time with you, as opposed to you putting together an artificial story. It was just existence as you found it.
Tony D, that's exactly how it came about. And listen, Dana, I gotta give a shout out to the crew, right? Kenton, Alyssa, and Jack. You guys, we do this literally in 48 hours.
Right.
Okay, there's no cheating here. And what's different is usually on a story, you show up and everybody's lined up, right? You've set it up, they're waiting for you.
All the X's and O's.
Yeah.
So here's what happens. We get there and they're like, David, where you want to go? And they just follow me around. And so it's actually super stressful because I'm like, gotta find somebody.
I love it.
Only you could pull that off. Well done.
Keep pulling it off.
We are back with a new edition of our series where we send lead national correspondent, that's David Begnaud, on a storytelling adventure, because we know David loves a good adventure. You know what else he loves? He loves to meet new people. So we surprised him yet again with a plane ticket and challenged him to find a story in just 48 hours. This time, lucky David, he landed in beautiful Monterey, California. It's a great place. As luck would have it, he found someone who has a story we can all learn from.
Here we go.
Hello, sir.
Good to see you.
Official documents.
Okay, here we go.
Right here.
Monterey.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a pretty quick trip from Los Angeles to Monterey, right along California's central coast.
Here we go.
Known for blue waters brimming with wildlife and the world-famous Monterey Bay Aquarium. My team surprised me with a private early morning tour led by program director Natalia Hurley.
Thanks for coming here.
Never been.
Oh, wow, even better. We love first-timers.
Let me tell you, I was mesmerized.
It's almost meditative to look at.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is he floating on his back?
Oh, yeah. These otters here take turns being surrogate moms to orphaned wild pups and then re-released out into the wild.
Hi.
Renee Carbajal, a senior aquarist here,
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
cares for the octopus.
She might want to get a meal.
Let me tell you, he let me get so close.
Oh, it feels so weird. It's like she's holding my hand.
She is.
I got to feed an octopus breakfast, y'all.
Hey, you're hired. When I come in the mornings, I'll play my salsa music, and she recognizes, oh, there's Renee.
Where are you from?
I was born in Mexico City.
Oh.
I went back to school in my late 30s. I graduated in marine biology.
You did,
at
wow.
UCLA. I have one of the best jobs in the world.
Well, after that wild start to the day, I made my way down Cannery Row. In the early 20th century, it was where workers, mostly immigrants, canned sardines to be shipped around the world. The literary giant John Steinbeck captured the flavor of that life in his 1945 novel. Today, his statue stands where the tourists flock.
We knew it was you. You knew it was me. You were right. Where are y'all from?
I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
That was fun, but look, the clock was ticking. We only had 48 hours, and I wanted to do a little shopping.
We've never been shopping on one of our Surprise City stores. This is the first. I love it.
Pendleton shirts rose to popularity in the 60s, thanks to the Beach Boys. Next, I popped into a bike shop.
Don't look so surprised. I've got an English accent.
These are some nice bikes.
Thank you.
Owner Martin Watson helped me pick out some wheels.
I'm fired up.
Yeah, you should be.
Fired up.
I'm fired up too.
With Watson and his bike-loving pup Bella, we took in these spectacular views.
You can smell the trees, the grass. This is unique.
Yeah,
You see them?
Oh,
Yeah.
I left the wheels with him and headed to the Monterey Library, which was the very first in California.
Been a while since I've been to a library.
Brian Edwards, the library and museum director, took me to Colton Hall because California's Constitution was created right here in 1849.
It was the first state constitution debated in English and in Spanish.
What were they debating? What was the debate?
Women's rights, whether it was going to be a slave state or not.
So California was progressive from the get-go.
From the get-go, from the very beginning.
Edwards sees Monterey as the birthplace of California. It felt like time stopped as we quietly explored the vital wetlands with naturalist Marina Mays.
Hear all that chatter?
Yeah.
But as I moved forward, I kept coming back to Renee Carbajal. It was his humility, his story, the way he connected me with that octopus. I thought, David, He's your story.
This is cha-cha-cha.
When I got there to surprise him, he was playing salsa music for the octopus he calls Chica. Look at this. This is wild.
Like
no pun intended.
Best friend ever.
I can't eat calamari again.
She's just watching me, kind of like, okay, let's hang together.
After spending almost 48 hours looking for people, I want to make you the story.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I see you.
Do you know what I loved? I loved your passion.
Thank you. And that's how I feel every day, really. That connectivity with the animal, it's just, it takes me somewhere else. And there is nothing more beautiful at that moment than that time. Having that time together makes me forget about everything else in the world.
He grew up in Mexico and moved with his family to Los Angeles in the early 2000s. 6 people shared a 1-bedroom apartment. But he says he was happy, hopeful, and determined.
Your first job in LA was doing what?
I will make the hamburgers, I will clean the floors, and learning the language and working hard.
As a hobby, he bought a small reef tank, and so began his passion for sea life. He learned to scuba dive, then took out loans to become the first in his family to go to college.
Honestly, I got a lot of doors that shut down in front of my face. One of my professors said that you just have to be a grain in the sand that is more shiny than the other ones, and that will get you there. And
a grain in the sand more shiny than the other ones. That's a good piece of advice.
I thought I could do it and never give up, and this is where I am.
Passion-fueled and results-driven, Carbajal became a United States citizen. He met his wife Joanna in Monterey, and together they are raising 2 octopus-loving little girls.
Do you want to give her another shrimpy?
I wanted to take you in and play with you.
I know.
You know, growing up here in America, when you meet people like you who had to start from scratch, what do you love about being here in America?
The things that I love the most, I guess, is freedom. I grew up in Mexico City in a very poor neighborhood, one of the most dangerous cities in the world. And when I look back, you know, all the struggles I went through, and I just feel so lucky, and this is what I love the most, just enjoy life every day, one day at a time.
And that, my friends, is the lesson for all of us. Find what you love, and if you can find a job doing it, it'll never feel like work.
I love your story. Love your story.
Thank you, David.
David Begnaud says he's got a real passion for meeting new people, so what we did is we surprised him with a plane ticket to San Antonio, Texas, and a challenge to find a story there on the fly. This is what he turned up.
Oh, San Antonio. Okay. You know, I've never been to the Alamo.
And with that, I took off with 48 hours to find a story. I was excited to visit the 7th most populated city in the United States.
What's your name?
Known for its rich history, Tex-Mex cuisine, and scenic riverwalk.
Welcome to San Antonio, y'all.
And lo and behold, our crew had the Alamo as my first stop. It is the most visited location in Texas that welcomes 1.6 million tourists every year.
Where are we going?
Hey, David. I'm Colby Lanham.
Nice to meet you,
nice
Colby.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Texas and welcome to the Alamo.
It's our first stop. It's my first time.
No way.
Never
really?
been. Always wanted to come.
Well, great.
He taught me all about the battle that led to Texas becoming its own nation before it joined the United States in 1845 as the 28th state.
That old adage, if walls could talk, this is a perfect building for that.
Yeah.
We even have David Crockett's rifle right here.
His actual rifle.
He owned this and used this during his lifetime.
I'll be darned.
Listen, any trip to Texas isn't complete without a cowboy hat, right?
There you go. Like a glove. But just remember, it's not the hat, it's the cowboy.
Strutting in style, minus the shoes. It was time to get some lunch, so I popped into Mi Tierra Cafe, which was founded in 1941 by Cruz Cortez, an immigrant from Guadalajara. His great-grandson, William Cortez, joined me for lunch.
So this plate has been on the menu now for probably 20, 30 years.
Wow.
You know, and our guys in the back that prep all the food every day. They have a combined, 150 years experience together.
I mean, that's amazing. So I savored that food and the sounds of the mariachi band. And then we were off to the Riverwalk to see who we might meet next.
I thought I recognized you.
Thank you. What's your name?
Sharon.
Sharon, nice to meet you. People come here from all over the country. And I thought to myself, what if we try something different, something new this time? So the next morning we headed to Pearl Park, where I sat down with a sign that said, I'm looking for a story. Because I wanted to see what would happen if I just waited. Who would I meet? I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited.
I knew that was you.
You know it was me.
I did.
What's your name?
Denise.
Hello, Denise.
Hi, David.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Are you from here?
I am not.
Where are you from?
Minnesota.
Are you vacationing?
We are.
How do you like it?
It's nice. It's not
Have
our
a seat,
first
have a seat,
time.
have a seat, have a seat.
It's not our first time.
Oh, so you've been before?
We have, but our grandchildren haven't.
Oh, so you're with them?
We are.
Oh, I love that. And do your family vacation a lot?
We do, yeah. My husband has Alzheimer's, so...
He does?
Yes, so it's nice to travel with the kids and grandkids.
How is he doing?
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
He's confused.
Yeah.
But probably no more than at home.
Yeah. And do you find that keeping up as much of normal life as you can is better for him?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So he's a little more confused, but he's with the grandchildren, and they just...
That's the comfort zone.
It is.
Right,
We went to a doctor, and we talked about meds, and he said, I cannot prescribe for you a medication that will do any more for him than being with the family.
Being with y'all.
Isn't that cool?
Isn't that heartwarming?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
and
heartwarming?
it's true.
Yeah.
It is true, because he lights up.
On air, on broadcast. It's so nice. And there it was, a conversation with a total stranger that led to memorable moments for both of us. Then Bethany and her mother-in-law, Lorena, came along.
So is it like a human interest piece you're looking
Yeah.
for? I don't know. What do you want to know?
Well, first of all, who are you?
I'm a business owner.
Okay.
I'm in a business with my husband here in San Antonio.
Okay.
So we do a lot of virtual homeschooling for kids, and it's been a big thing. I've had my own classroom. I've been tutoring for 14 years, and being able to tutor and be in the classroom, you see a lot of kids who have learning gaps, but you also see they just keep getting pushed through. And the best way I can illustrate that is, the game Jenga?
Yeah.
So each year that you're in school, it's like that tower that you're building. But the kids who have learning gaps, they miss a block. And as that tower gets taller, it becomes more unstable.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
We live in this now remote world where remote is acceptable. What do you think the lesson has become for all of us in that?
There's more to just work, sleep, repeat. There's more to life than that.
Yeah.
You only have 24 hours in a day. Your family, your spiritual health, that's the most important thing.
You are so right. I'll say this to you. We know we have 24 hours in a day, but we don't know how many days we have left.
It's a gift.
That's
We're
right.
not guaranteed every day.
We love
I'm
that.
a talker.
We love that. Nice to meet you. And then came Caitlin with her precious babies with a story I couldn't believe.
I have a story about how I met my husband.
Okay, sit down. Okay, how'd you meet your husband?
So when we started dating, our moms recognized each other, and we were like, there's no way that the two of you know each other. They found an address book, and my mom and his mom had met in Germany in 1997. Exchanged numbers for us to meet. Play date never happened.
Okay.
Fast forward, I am 20 years old, and I met him on a missions trip. And then I started dating him. And then our moms saw each other after seeing each other in 1990.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
And you married the guy.
I married him, and he's the greatest man ever. And now he's gone in the army. That's my guy right there.
What's his name? Oliver. You know what? I would call this meant to be. That's what I'd call this. Meant to be. Meant to be. Meant to be that they met, and we did too. Here in this San Antonio park where I was reminded that in life,
Everyone, and I mean everyone, has some kind of testimony to tell.
Gave us a
God,
3-for-1
David,
special.
Yes, David, that's so true. And people often want to tell their stories, too. I love how you put that story together. It was really,
Gayle,
really
I love when you
lovely.
sit down and you say you have an invitation to speak from your heart. Everybody. So it reminds you the next time you stand in the street, whoever's annoying you in front of you or behind you has something that if they sat you down and told you, you would find really interesting.
I'll try to remember that
That's
next
good.
time someone irritates me. Just happened to me yesterday on the train. I'll try to remember that, David. Thank you.
By the way, how
thank
you like
That
the
was-
hat?
I love the hat.
Look good on you.
Kept it.
I love all things David Begnaud. All of it. All
Well
of it.
done.
Thank you so much.
All right, where are we going? Where are we going?
Tell me.
Asheville, North Carolina. I have never been. Thank you. Let's go. This is going to be fun. It was a quick 56-minute flight from Atlanta to Asheville where the adventure began. Bye. This time in a city nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, best known for its vibrant art scene, diverse food, and 50-plus breweries.
Are you here to do a story?
Yeah.
Where are you going to do it?
I don't know. I have 48 hours to find it.
Oh,
Have you
it's
seen
one of those,
It's
yes.
one of those. To kick off the journey, we started at Asheville's most visited site, Biltmore Estate. There, my team surprised me with someone who knows the place pretty well.
Welcome to Biltmore. I'm Chase Pickering.
Hi, Chase. Pleasure to meet you.
So glad to have you here today.
This is quite a sight.
Biltmore House was built by my great-great-grandfather in 1895. George Vanderbilt was his name. It's the largest privately owned home in America.
I could get accustomed to this.
Let's take a closer look.
Chase took me on a private tour and shared what it was like growing up as a descendant of the family who built New York's famous Grand Central Terminal. I mean, the majesty of this, kind of gives me the chills.
Isn't it spectacular?
Wow. From here, it was time for breakfast. So we headed to a place called Biscuit Head, and I tried the filthy animal. So there's egg, pimento cheese, a biscuit, and bacon. I mean, what else do you say? One more bite, and I'm done. From here, we headed for Asheville's River Arts District, which has a vintage vinyl shop. Oh, I love this. And some individual art studios. This is really striking and beautiful.
Thank you.
We decided to pop into Asheville's Visitor Center nearby. Any ideas on things we should see? Or people we should meet, actually, more important.
People you should meet.
Yeah. They told me to check out the Tasty Diner and go meet the owner, Stephen Goff. Are you Mr. Goff?
Yeah.
I'm David with CBS News.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. We were told to come and check this place out. Poor guy. He looked pretty confused. So I sat down and I told him this. I'm looking for just fascinating people.
Cool.
And stories that make you mad, sad, or glad. Any of the three work.
I'm pretty sure I have all of that.
Over a delicious Philly cheesesteak, he started to tell me about his past. And I knew real quickly we had found our story.
You know, I was born in Northern California, and my family moved to South Carolina. My first year of high school, I dropped out and started hopping freight trains, and hopped all around the country.
How did you like that lifestyle?
It was pretty cool. I mean, you know,
What made it cool?
There's a lot of things, you know, for like a young person that was like just stuck in a super conservative southern city. It was like the most liberating freedom ever.
So life on the run as a teen was more freeing and fun than life at home.
You know, it was the early 90s, so like, you know, if you looked funny, you were gay. So lots of people would harass me for that. I'm not gay, and I also have nothing against anyone with any sexual preference, but them thinking I was gay caused large problems for me in the South in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I grew up gay in the South. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I got it.
So it was an issue, you know, and it was like, I would rather live on the streets than put up with this.
Now you're starting to speak my language, but I also see your eyes start to water.
Oh, yeah, yeah. When I was younger, I was just like, that was awesome and fun. But as an adult, you're like, oh, you were running away from pain. You know?
And that's it. that's it. You were running from pain.
You know, at the same time, like, the life that gave me and what that instilled in my spirit as a human being made me a better person as a whole.
He found his purpose in the first place that really felt like home, the kitchen. Stephen worked his way up the ranks using a skill born out of pain, compassion.
You know what I thought when I walked into this restaurant? A place where anybody feels welcome.
That's exactly what I want you to feel.
That's what I thought.
I want it to feel like our city here, like Asheville. I want it to feel like you're walking into my head and you're getting a little piece of my history and personality just from the walls and the decor.
Stephen had an idea, the wooden nickel program. Here, a customer can spend an extra $5 to buy one of these wooden nickels. When people who are hungry come by asking for free food, Stephen feeds them, and a wooden nickel gets used. As our time in Asheville with Stephen was coming to an end, I started thinking that life itself is just one wild train ride. As long as you can hang on, you might end up being dropped off exactly where you're meant to be.
Isn't it crazy how you go from a boy jumping trains trying to find himself to sitting down on CBS News and telling your story?
It's pretty cool. It is insane, in fact. I never thought I would be anything, so so it's pretty cool to be able to like take care of our community and have somebody just coming through town and recognize that.
Well, the community is what drove us to you. And I think it's because of how well you've taken care of them.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. David, you did it again. Makes me want to go to the Tasty Diner. I love when you walked in and you asked for him, he goes, yeah. And then he had all of that. He had all of that to share.
Gayle, I love meeting random people. This is the best challenge for me. Go anywhere. We're not going to tell you who you're going to run into and find somebody who's got a story. I'm obsessed with this idea.
No, I like what he said, too, about, you know, being gay and in the South. Can you understand? You go, yeah, I do.
Yeah, got it, Bubba.
Yeah. Yeah. Preach it to the choir. I like what John said. When does the 48 hours start?
Yeah, exactly. Do you? Martin Luther King Day, we had that quote earlier from MLK, a soul full of love. It looks like you found him. But I want to ask you the petty, small question, which was, what was it like walking through that Vanderbilt house? It felt like you could take a flight from one wing to the other.
Oh, John, I tell you what, talk about make a boy want to be filthy rich. You walk through that house once and you're like, can I stay here for the weekend? 175,000 square feet. Largest residence in America. Breathtaking. You must go see it.